Hi everyone, my name is Ferns and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to mount a Platycerium on a cork bark. But before that, I do want to address something. I do want to apologize to everyone that I have been posting so many videos or uploading anything. I've been extremely busy in the past month just because of a lot of things that have been going on, including this. Me and my fiance, we found out that she's pregnant as of right now. She's 9 weeks pregnant right now, and we just had our first ultrasound from our doctor. We're very excited. I'm super excited already to see my little baby. My family knows, all my friends know, but if any of my friends are watching this who doesn't know yet, surprise, I'm gonna be a dad. Well, it's a very exciting news, and it's a lot of things that I do need to plan for. So it's taking up a lot of my time, but I do want to apologize to everyone again that I haven't been uploading, but I'm going to try my very best to make more content for you guys. So without anything else, let's go get started. Some of the things that you're going to need today for the mount is a drill bit, which is optional, some screws, a fishing line. I wouldn't recommend getting any fishing line that is more than 10 pounds just because it ends up being a lot thicker and it doesn't look as good on the mount. You're also going to need your board or cork bark, which is what I have. Make sure that you have plenty of sphagnum moss. Having more sphagnum moss is always better just because when you pack in the mount, you want to make sure that you are pressing and compacting as much as you can, but you're going to use a lot of moss, just FYI, so be aware of that. And the last thing that you're going to need is an aeroid mix. This aeroid mix in here includes cork bark, perlite, pumice, cocoa chips, and charcoal in there. So if you have this kind of mix, it's not necessary, but I like using it just because I get more aeration and I like to have my Platyceriums dry out a lot faster. But you can literally just use cork bark and that's totally fine, but I like to take it to another level and make it a little bit more my own and more my own unique style. So for today's Platycerium that I'm going to be using is going to be the Platycerium Mount Lewis. I have it right over here. What happened was that I had my Mount Lewis mounted on a board and I was watering it. Then it kind of just broke off and a giant piece of it just kind of left. And then I was able to get 2 pieces of it. So we're going to be using the smaller one today, which is this Platycerium right here. But this one right here, it's not as developed yet. So I'm going to be keeping this in a high humidity box. And I'm going to wait for it to root a little bit more before I remount it again, just because I don't think that it's going to have a high success rate as of right now if I decide to mount it. But this is what happens when you're not careful with some of your Platyceriums. They can break off, but don't worry. What you can do is just put it in some sphagnum moss, give it some high humidity, and just give it some time when it'll just start redeveloping new roots. And once it does, after a couple months, then you should just remount it. So with my cork bark, the first thing that I want to do is figure out the placement and how I want it to be displayed on here. So if you ever take your Platycerium and then just kind of figure out like how you like it, like where the centering is, then you can just figure out your next steps. But the main thing that you need to remember when mounting any Platycerium is to figure out which way up is, because there is an orientation for these Platyceriums and it's important for you to know. I will show you how to do that, okay? So, if you look a little closer, I don't know if you can tell. The way you can tell is that the centering right over here, it's a little bit more hairy. That's supposed to be on the very top of it, okay? And the very bottom is going to be the newest and developing leaves, okay? As long as like these leaves come outwards and shoot out and it's not a shield frond, then you can figure out that this is the right orientation for it to go up. You see, right over here is like the little centerpiece, which is a little bit more hairy. And then out here is the newest leaf. So this is gonna be on the bottom of it. So this is how you know this is gonna be mounted this way in the right orientation. Next thing that you're gonna want to do is to start drilling holes into your board. It's not very necessary. A lot of the times you can just put a screw and then you just start putting your screws in there. I like to do 4 to 6 screws at a time whenever I'm making any platyceriums on the board, just because it kind of covers enough whenever you're using the fishing line, like to weave in and out. It just looks a lot better and a lot cleaner in my opinion than just having 1 or 2. That's just me personally, but I know a lot of other people can have different methods as well. They can put like a circle like around for like screws and they just like weave it back and forth. I personally like to have it on the sides right here. That's why all of my Platycerium mounts have always been on that side. But it's personal preference at the end of the day. And if you like it, that's you know, it's up to you. So put it in here. So you don't have to have everything to be perfect unless you like having the screws kind of stick out a little bit, but that's just how I like to mount my Platycerium sometime. You don't really need to do it. I like it, but at the very end, if you have some kind of exposed screws, you can always just screw it all back in, and it looks a lot better that way as well, just so then you're just hiding it. 3, 4. Okay, so this is before I screw everything in, but you're gonna have it look kind of like this right here. You see how it has like 3 prongs right there? And then there's another 3 prongs right over here as well. It's important to have them stick out a bit more than usual, just so then you have more space to work with. If you don't do that, what happens is that you're going to be struggling to put in the fishing line in as and then while you're weaving it. But this is going to be your best bet, but just make sure that it's secure and that you are able to just screw everything just a little bit in, okay? Okay, good. So now, the next thing that you're going to want to do is to put so some people, what they like to do before that is that they like to put like holes in here, and then they would put a wire like just so that they can secure the Platycerium onto the board. I kind of just like to do whatever. Sometimes I do it. I'm just a little bit more lazy about it, but you can totally do that just to secure it. It does feel better and everything, but for me, I've done this multiple times where I didn't have to do it, and I like it a little bit better, just because I know that every time whenever I'm weaving the fishing line, it's more secure anyways. The next and hardest part about making this mount is going to be putting everything together and making sure it stays in place, okay? So what I want to do is I want to take my orchid mix right over here. I just want to grab a handful of them, and then I want to put it in the center of my board as much as I can. This allows for the roots to kind of hold in and hold together, just so then they don't stay too wet for too long. Platyceriums are epiphytes, so they do grow on trees, and when they are growing in trees in the wild, they tend to get more airflow and they are drying out a lot faster depending on the climate that they're around. Some of them do stay a little bit more wet than usual, but some of them actually enjoy having a lot more humidity as well. But it never hurts to have your Platycerium dry out a little bit faster, just because it allows them to get more and new water later, and they don't stay wet for too long, which can cause root rot and can kind of stunt their growth as well. So right over here, put this down. So after you put your your orchid mix on there, all you want to do is you want to take some of your sphagnum moss and then you want to kind of cover it. I like to flatten it out a little bit and just place it on top and just push it in. It's going to get a little bit messy just because it's gonna just fly around. You're gonna have a lot of stuff, but just make sure you have a vacuum around afterwards. It's completely normal to have all this mess, but you know, I should have put a mat underwards, but I didn't do that. When you're mounting, whether it's on a board or a cork bark, just make sure that you're thinking about the shape of your Platycerium, because in Asia, when hobbyists and enthusiasts are mounting, they like it more round, and it does look a lot better when it's round. I will show you how I do that as well, because I've developed it over time. It takes a lot more patience too. Sometimes it does take me a couple hours just to make sure that it's in the right shape and everything, just because it takes a long time. See, like, look how it looks a little bit more on the rounder side right now. It looks good, but over time you're gonna have to put more. Like, I think by the end of it, I'm gonna be using at least half of this sphagnum moss in there. Okay. Next up, I'm going to, I need to get this. You want to tie your string or your fishing line to one of your screws. It doesn't matter which one, okay? Make sure it's secure and make sure it's tight, okay? So I like to work and like just move around it and everything, but make sure that you know where your orientation is. It's going to be up, right? So when you're looking at it, to me, this is up, okay? The little fuzzy part is up. This is the newest leaf. So I got to make sure that it looks like this right here. And what I like to do is just weave a little bit and have it pass in and then out and over, like through the middle, just in case. You don't want to cover or try to like touch the growth point right over there in the middle, just because it's going to cause it more problems in the future. And if you actually damage or hurt the growth point in the middle, it's going to die and it's not going to be able to grow as well. So keep that in mind whenever you're working and mounting your Platycerium. Just be a little bit more careful when you get into the middle area. And because I know that there are roots, I like to kind of just pull a little bit harder and everything, just to make sure that it's very secure on here. Also know that if you can't figure out its orientation, you can always find out how on YouTube and everything, or just shoot me a DM. I can and take a picture. I can just tell you which direction you should have it. Like if it's 3 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, that kind of thing. But it's not too difficult. Like I said, I'm always here to help if you guys need it. Just shoot me a DM and a picture of your Platycerium, and I can always tell you guys which way is up. Okay. So after just clipping it and making sure that it's secure, right? This is how it looks, right? It's not too bad. Oh, by the way, this is the green stuff right here is actually live sphagnum moss. That's where I've been keeping the little pup that I pulled out of. But yeah, this is like the easiest part of the mount, okay? The next thing that you're gonna have to do is to make this, like this entire mount very round, okay? So that's the hardest and longest part of this build, okay? So anytime that you are making this, what you want to do is that you are just constantly putting more sphagnum moss on there and then just pushing it to make sure it's round, okay? I don't recommend putting too much like too much force or too much or tightening like the wire whenever you're mounting too much, just because it doesn't like keep the shape as well as you want it to. So anything is just like whenever you're just lightly tugging the fishing line. Other than that, it's like super duper easy. But it does take some time, just because if you really want that round shape and look, it just takes a lot of time, and you just have to be patient. It takes time as well if you're mounting a lot of Platyceriums. I had to like mount like 5 of them all in one day before. So I developed the skill and also did my own technique of how to do this. But everyone has their own way of doing things, and you know, everyone likes it to look a different way. See, like every single time I pack more sphagnum moss, it does look more round, and I just keep weaving in and out. Okay, and I will get back to you guys on the final results. And the final thing that I want to show you guys, because I think I'm pretty much done mounting it, it does look a bit more round. Look at that. See, I think I did a pretty good job. See? And so you want to kind of like tuck parts of it in, like remove some of the extra airway mix that I have in there. Just tuck everything in, just like push it a little bit. And then just because like you can, when you remove all these parts and stuff, it just looks a lot cleaner. Cut some of the sphagnum moss too on the side, and also like if you see like some of the frayed stuff, right, just like give it a little bit of a small little cut, just so then it keeps it more round. And try not to like cut your fishing line, just because it just might unravel at the end. But as long as like that, it looks good. And this is the results of it. See, looks pretty good. All you got to do for the ends right here is like you just want to use your drill, and then you drill them back in, so then they just look more hidden. Other than that, I think it looks really good. It's very centered in there. The top, this is gonna grow out and pop a lot more too. I just hope that I don't break it off like I did before. But overall, I'm very happy with this. Okay. Well, this is the final results that I have it at. Show you guys again. I think it looks really clean. I think it looks really nice. All I gotta do for this is, oh wait, it's upside down. It's this way. So it's really nice. It looks really clean. I think it looks really round enough. I honestly didn't use a lot of sphagnum moss than I thought I was going to, but you know, like I said, it's always better to have more than have less. I just have to put like a little bit of like a metal like thing right over here, just so then I can like a little loop, so I can keep it on top of like one of my mounts, or sorry, sorry, like a nail or screws, and I can put it on my wall. Other than that, I had a great time making this video. Hopefully I have more videos that I can upload and share with you guys soon. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.